the sky? Is it morning when my place is night? Is it raining when my place is dry? I wanna see, I wanna know what's on the other side, the other side. I wanna travel the world with you. What's on the other side, the other side? Wherever you are, I want you. Travel the world with you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of the Nebula RPG Cup. I'm once again joined by Mitryani for what should be a very fun evening of Trackmania. And hey, thank you to everyone who's joining us this evening. I know there's a huge amount of Trackmania competition on today. At the same time as this is happening, I believe the Finnish Cup is currently finishing up. WRL is on. The American Masters is starting at the same time. And of course, Nebula Cup. Mitryani, that's four competitions happening at the same time right now.
Yeah, that's way too much content.
It's
We're
too
gonna have
much.
to watch the VODs, I guess, but of course, better be here and then
Yeah.
watch the rest later.
No, exactly. I think we're pulling in a slightly different crowd than most of the rest of those competitions, being the only TM2 RPG competition happening right now, and honestly, the biggest TM2 RPG competition that has happened in a very long time, possibly the biggest ever. Who am I to say on this one? But I am very excited for this week. For anyone who's been paying attention, you will know, and for those of you who haven't, we'll explain it. This is week 2, obviously, of the Nebula RPG Cup. Week 1 was played on Ariati. Week 2 is going to be played on a new map. Everdusk came out last Sunday, made by Narc, and this week, where last week we played cup mode, this week will be rounds mode. So guaranteed, everyone gets to play 15 rounds of competition tonight, Mitry.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much as long as last week, but this time the map is gonna be pretty different to watch and play. It's a lot more flowy and just quicker, but a lot more like tricky to be fast. So I think people are gonna full send it and most likely gonna crash unless there's Skandir or Bren. But yeah, gonna be probably a lot of crashes, but yeah, cool maps to see again.
Yeah. Going to be a super fun one to see for sure, as you kind of mentioned, and we'll get into it more when we actually have the map on screen, when we've gotten into those first couple of rounds as well. But it is a very different style to last week. As you said, it is what's the word you used? And I know I should know this word. The style of map is no
Overmixed.
Overmixed, yes. I was reaching for it. I knew it wasn't vanilla, but overmixed means a completely different thing. Could you explain, just, obviously not just for me, but for everyone watching at home, what is meant by overmixed as I bring us into the map here?
So this is vanilla, which means no title back blocks, only just normal stadium blocks and items. But in the editor in Trackmania 2, they invented and kept it going through TM20 something called mix mapping, which means you can stay on the grid or not, but like you usually do, but then you can mix blocks basically, and that's, people played with that and figured we can make basically everything we want if we're good enough. So that's it, overmix, blocks within blocks within blocks, and yeah, that's just, I love that. That's what I do, that's what I drive and make. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. And it is, as you said, also the other word that you used to describe it, very flowy compared to last week. I think, if we see a player lose speed at any point, it's going to do very bad things to their final time. You really can kind of start the map, get speed, and then you keep most of that speed pretty much the entire way through the map, there are obviously drifts, there are some very tech turns throughout the map as well, but if you start to lose speed badly in one area, it is going to snowball quite badly through, a lot of turns in a row after that.
Yep. There are new players that are pretty good that didn't play last week. For example, Levon, I think, is in the server. That guy is a Trackmania RPG legend. He has so many WRs on TMNF and TM2 and I think TM20 as well now. I think he's also playing Beacon earlier today. I'm not sure. But
Yes,
he's fast. He's insane, basically.
Yeah,
My favorite player, definitely.
You said the name, and I was like, I know I've heard that in some context, but I was trying to place it, and because, we were talking about RPG, I was trying to be like, have I seen him in, mini RPG? Have I seen him on other leaderboards and places? And no, it was because he played Beacon earlier today. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. He's Div 2, I think.
Yes, yeah. Teaming with, I should know this. He's not, is he teaming? He's not teaming with Huso, no.
No, he's
no.
with another TMNF trial youngster. I think he's like 17. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
In Team Onyx.
Yeah.
Neon. Yeah, Neon.
Neon. Yes. Yeah. Why did I think Huso? That's just so completely wrong. Who's Huso teaming with? Why am I? Sorry, this is completely irrelevant to the match at hand, so I shouldn't be bothering. But it's fun. I'll figure it out later on my own time. Don't worry about it. For now, I have just been sitting on board with Ferry as we go through this warm-up as well, and we do have another couple of minutes of warm-up here. I will say as well, this is the style of map that, last week, if you're kind of learning RPG, you're maybe like me, where you've played through a few classic RPGs, you've gotten not good times by any stretch of the imagination, but you can comfortably finish an RPG. Last week's map, much easier to remember the routing on. This is the style of map where it's not going to happen to our good players tonight. It's not even going to happen to our mediocre players tonight or anyone who's practiced the track. But much easier to forget your way. Even if you've put a couple of hours into the track, this is the kind of track where I still find myself occasionally turning left when I know it should be a right turn.
Yeah, I think overall it's a easier map than last week's, but definitely a lot harder to go fast, I think. So if you want to win, you're gonna have to full send, and I love that.
Yeah. It's going to be super exciting to watch. Of course, there is prizes on the line, as there was last week as well. Same as last week, there will be prize money. That will be a total prize pool of €500, which is €250 for first place, €150 for second place, €100 for third place. And of course, the top placed player will qualify for the Nebula RPG Cup Grand Finals. Now, last week, Morpeo was our top placed player, and so Morpeo has taken the spot from last week for the Grand Finals. If Morpeo is first place again tonight, Morpeo does not get a second place for the Grand Finals. It will go to whoever is second tonight. And in future weeks, obviously, if first, second, and third have all gotten Grand Final spots, then it will go to whoever is in fourth. The top place player who is not already qualified for the Grand Finals will get a spot for the Grand Finals.
I'm getting DM'd about... Is my sound okay?
I can turn you up. Don't worry about that. Listen, that's obviously, since it's my stream, Mitry, I just want it to be the only thing that anyone could hear. Hopefully, I've turned you up there, so if you say something, hopefully you sound a little bit louder to them.
Okay, great. I got like 2 people DMing me about that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my fault.
I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah,
Nice,
definitely don't trust me if someone DMs you again. Also, they can just type it in Twitch chat, okay? I'm not going to be offended if they call me out for the sound mixing being bad. I would rather they say something and then we'll figure it out from there.
Wait, is it? I think it's starting, right?
Yeah, we're into it. Round 1. We are kicking things off for week 2 of the Nebula RPG Cup. We are starting off Everdusk by Narc. Some very good players in the server, as there was last week. We didn't even get a chance to ask you, Mitry, who you think is going to win this week.
Ooh, yeah. Well, Ferry just drove an insane time. So again, I'm going to say Ferry. Last week he was insane and didn't end up winning, but he was insane. So I'm going to say Ferry. Might be Bren. No, okay. I'm gonna say Ferry, Racelin, and Bola.
Okay. I was about to say there are some players who last week had very good scores but weren't winning rounds. And obviously this is a much better format for players like that this week, right? Where as long as you're kind of consistently top 5, you're looking good. It feels much better for those players because, hey, we're just guaranteed playing 15 rounds. If you consistently get very good finishes, you're going to end very well.
Yeah. I realized I didn't say Skandir, which sounds outrageous, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mitryani, we are getting some calls in Twitch chat to just mute you entirely, but don't worry, we're not going to do that. I did jump on board with Morpio, who has unfortunately immediately crashed afterwards, so I'm going to jump a little bit further forward up the pack. On board with Bola, who is currently sitting in 5th place, just behind his brother, Ferry and Scandir, right in front. Currently leading the round is Raceland with Ake just behind as well. Ake, I think, nearly had some very good rounds last week, and then generally kind of, you know, had a mistake somewhere after checkpoint 16 on that map, which, fair enough, that was tending to happen to a lot of players as well. But starting off very, very well on this map.
Yeah, Ike, usual activities, drives insane times, but then crashes 9 times out of 10.
So,
just usual work.
Yeah, kind of like the Elcon for RPG is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, understandable. Well, why don't we jump on
There's
board
a
with
good
for
pack.
the moment?
Yeah, there's a pretty significant pack creating at the top with like 3 or 4 people if we count Skandir.
Yeah, Skandir
Skandir
definitely was
slower.
in the pack, but has kind of dropped down. Well, Raceland has dropped back down to keep Skandir company for the moment, and unfortunately kind of keeps dropping. This is exactly what we said in the warm-up as well. You know, you can see Raceland like a little bit of a touch there, but because you can keep speed through so much of this map, ended up losing kind of nearly a full second over that one little touch because everyone else just keeps moving further and further in front. It is a very close race up at the front between Aik and Ferry. Ferry overtakes right as we jump on board. Aik is going to be still close behind, and I think maybe it's cameraman Skandir time as he is sitting behind this battle, and these two continue to overtake each other a little bit too much to stay on board with at the moment. About a minute left in the track, and really I think any of these top 3, maybe even any kind of up the top 4 could probably still win it. Top 5?
Yeah.
Top 6?
Ferry is definitely getting ahead now. Ooh, but he didn't clips again. I don't know. It's just every time there's something we can call, like Ferry first, boom, he clips. I mean, he's still first, but he did clip.
Yeah.
Somehow didn't lose time. But like, yeah, I don't think he's risking. He's shaky, but it's gonna work, I think.
Yeah. Holding on.
But
to the
anyone,
lead for the
I think
moment.
right now, they just don't wanna risk. Check the temperature of the others and what's going on.
Yeah, the other side of that is you're absolutely right. Like, round 1 is not necessarily the time to just full send and risk the crash, but those points are as good as the points for any other round, and the points repartition has been slightly adjusted this week, I believe, to favor the players that finish near the top a little bit more. The points drop off is steeper inside the top 10, so it's a full 1,000 points for coming first. It's 930 points for coming second, and Ferry is going to be he's not going to be the first player to pick up those first 1,000 points. Skandir will pick up 1,000 points, and Ferry with the full crash at the end unfortunately drops down the leaderboard. Where did he end up finishing? I believe in 8th place. That's rough. That is rough. Was on pace for, I think, kind of a 4:05, maybe a low 4:06, which would have been a great time to get in round 1 as well.
Again, I could see very good times being driven. Maybe not straight at the beginning, but I think even 03 could be driven. I think if people start to risk a lot at the end, it might happen. RPG is just always like that. People can just drive WR anytime.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially in this the cup mode that we have, or sorry, the rounds mode that we have tonight versus the cup mode that we had last week, it's just likely to be a couple of extra rounds for people to do it, and it's also, you know, maybe less the end of the world if you kind of have one off round. Although with that said, you know, I mean, cup mode definitely does push people towards the end to try and push as hard as they can. You know, we had several finalists, and if you're not first, you might as well be last at that point.
Yeah. What even happened to Ferry? I didn't see.
He full crashed the finish on the right. He just missed the transition into the finish and bounced off it. It was rough stuff. Yeah. He was there. He drove 4 minutes 5 seconds and about 8/10 of perfect Trackmania, just beautiful stuff. And then in the last 1,000th of a second, he just twitched right a little bit too far.
Let's see. I don't think Levon trained. I think he's just YOLOing his way. But yeah, if he trained, he would definitely be in the front pack.
Yeah, he's not far off the front pack at the moment. I mean, you know, not far off. A couple of seconds down after about 4 checkpoints is pretty far away already. But also, I mean, hey, maybe we see the Levon rise over the course of it, okay? 15 rounds, that's some pretty good training.
He can, yeah, just like Bren last week, he definitely improved a lot during the rounds themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's see. Hazard as well doesn't seem too quick right now. 2 rounds being not so good right now.
Having a little bit of a rough time of it. Down in about 9th place, 10th place at the moment for Hazard. And I'm jumping on board. We do once again have like a very clear kind of front pack emerging. All of whom are within a few tenths of each other, although a lot of them slow down. That wall grind on the corner did allow Ache to catch up just a little bit, but everyone seems to have kind of kept their speed, kept up with the group at the moment. Vortex, the closest player to this front pack, but he is about a second behind this front group. Again, all of whom are within a few tenths of each other, basically.
Yeah. Super close. That's why I love those maps. They're super tricky to actually be good and consistent, but in the end, players are so good that they can just look fine on it, which I definitely can't. Yeah, I love watching those maps. Ooh, Ferry fully clipped. He has to respawn, and he's lost like 5 places or something, or more than that.
Ferry having a little bit of a rough time of it. I mean, this time, you know, I don't know, is it better or worse, do you think, to crash halfway through the map instead of right at the finish line?
Yeah, probably now is better.
Yeah, right, it's less soul-crushing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Let's see, he lost like 10 places almost. Actually, more than that, 12. I think it was 4th, and now he's 16th.
Well, to keep him company, Bole is currently full crashing and going to fall down the leaderboard a long way as well. So going back to keep his brother company. And once again, in the last map we had kind of a breakaway, or in the last round we had a breakaway of Scandir and Ferry. This time around, it's Scandir again, but alongside him is Racelam. Morpio just a little way behind those two, but with about a minute left on the track. This is pretty much where Scandir was. I think Ferry had gotten a little bit further in front of Scandir last time around, but Raceland is still managing to hold Scandir off for the moment.
Raceland should just save, because risking right now is actually pointless. Like, I think he knows Scandir is just too consistent. Oh, and as I say that, he clipped his wheel and lost like a second.
Yeah.
But I don't think Scandir is gonna crash, like a huge crash respawn, so... Yeah, Racing should just save, and I think he does. He doesn't seem too YOLO right now.
Yeah, he's not pushing too hard. I mean, keeping the speed up, you know, as we've talked about a couple of times, you do still need to keep flowing in this map. You need to keep the speed high or it all falls apart very quickly. But yeah, Raceland did just have a little bit of a clip, and Scandir does have that extra speed all of a sudden and is jumping past Raceland. Raceland landing sooner, gets the acceleration away, is still just in front of Scandir, and Scandir will crash right near the end, coming up to that last final couple of jumps. Does end up hitting the nose. Hasn't lost a huge amount of time, but I think any chance of overtaking Raceland towards the end here has gone, and Raceland will lock in the round win for round 2. Just a little bit further down the leaderboard as well. Bren holding on to about 4th or 5th place. He was until he crashed, and he will end up dropping a long way down the leaderboard. But
many people crashing in the end.
In the last,
so many people not driving clean.
I was going to say, like, you know, it's a 4-minute track, and I feel like we've seen a lot of people crash in. It's not a particularly difficult part of the map. Maybe I'm wrong to say that, you know, but it doesn't feel like these last 15 seconds are particularly difficult compared to the rest of the map, right?
Yeah, but I think this comes from, like, how to say that? When you hunt a map and you train, you just respawn when you crash, which means you're going to play the start a lot more often than the end. So even if it's easier, I think people are just less trained on it and less confident. So that might play a role in that.
They're just, I think, like me for real.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought they are actually human?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, I watch this driving sometimes and I'm not convinced myself. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting point. I think it's also just, to me, the fact that it is oh, excuse me. The fact that it is literally these last, like, 3 or 4 turns almost. There's almost the celebrating a little bit too early, right? The sigh of relief of, I did it, I survived a full round, and oh, what do you mean there's 2 jumps left and I actually needed to pay attention?
Yeah, I used to be admin of an RPG team, and my only advice I used to give was just finish all your runs, even if you crash or whatever. Just finish the runs.
Yeah.
That helps so much. Countering what I just said earlier about not playing the end like ever, unless you're on WR pace, which is like actually stupid if you want to train consistency. So yeah, always finish your runs.
Yeah, I mean,
That they used to work, I guess.
It's over in the British Irish Trackmania Discord. We have lots of discussions about what is effective training in Trackmania as well. Gets heated over there, but you know, because one of the discussions is not so much for RPG, but for kind of competitive maps in general and things. You know, other competitions, like how effective are part maps as a training method, and some people swear by them, and some people are like, "Well, I don't see the point. You know, you're never going to be playing just one section in competition," and you know. I mean, it's the same way if you ever played a musical instrument. I mean, very rarely do you learn the entire piece through in one go. You're always going to practice sections, you know?
Yep, I agree.
Oh, Scandir's had a crash. That's unusual. So Scandir, who is currently tied for first with Raceland, because Raceland, another beneficiary of Ferry's crash in round 1, ended up coming second in that round and then beat Scandir in round 2. So both of them currently on 1,930 points, and at the moment Raceland is sitting a lot further up the leaderboard than Scandir. Well, I say a lot further. He's about 2 places in front of him. But, you know, we're in the top 5. 2 places is significant.
For the first time ever, I think, even if we count last week, Leg or Jambe in French is in first place, and he never won any rounds besides the one that actually got him 4th place last week. So yeah, first time we see him actually performing.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot Jean did end up coming 4th place last week, and this is we were talking, or I was talking just a little bit earlier about the kind of players that maybe did very well last week but weren't really winning rounds. I mean, Jean was one of those players, just did win a round as well at exactly the right time.
Yeah. Well, sounds like Carl Jr. in every competition, he's almost out in like quarters and then semis, and somehow just spoiler, he wins.
Yeah.
As always.
Well, Carl Jr. wins, yeah. Trackmania is a
Kind
fun
of like
racing
Scandir.
game where we drive tracks over and over again and then Carl Jr. wins in the end, right?
Yeah, definitely. In RPGs, pretty much the same with Scandir. It used to be Bran, then it was like Scandir, and then Morpio got in the way, but then Scandir is just too good at TM20. So yeah, the same names always come back. Right now, though, Morpio is nowhere to be seen, and Scandir is 3rd, battling actually with good amount of people. Ferry, Jambe, and Bren. Wrestling waiting just behind, waiting for a mistake, I guess.
Yeah, well,
like
there is
the one
a
Jambe did.
little bit of a mistake from Jambe, who is now sitting in 5th place. Scandir moving up to 2nd. Ferry, once again, out in the lead, and a comfortable lead of a few tenths, maybe half a second for Ferry at the moment. But I've seen this one before. I'm not going to get too excited until I actually see Ferry manage to cross the finish line. There's not a huge amount of track left at the moment. I'm going to jump up a little bit. We're going to jump on board with Raceland, who's right behind Bren, right behind Scandir, right behind Ferry as well. This is super close. Bren moving a little bit slowly there. He will survive, but Raceland got a land bug, I think. Did he? Just slowed on landing at that point, so Bren stays in 3rd place. He may have just full crashed. Yeah, I was swapping cameras right as it happened, unfortunately. But it's
he was risking way too hard.
Yeah, I mean,
Ferry doesn't crash the end.
He survived. Ferry survived. So, first place for Ferry, making good on the mistakes from round 1. And Scandir has come 2nd in every round so far.
Classic. Reminds me of Shorty back then in True Talent Cups. I think he got 2nd like 12 times in a row or something.
Yeah.
Do you even know True Talent Cups?
Yeah, I'm hearing that we've changed the points repartition purely to nerf Scandir by making 2nd place worth less points.
Oof.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. I don't think it's working. I'm pretty sure he is still winning overall right now. But, you know, I mean, at least an effort was made.
Yeah. Marius is still here. It's like last week. I don't think he trains as much, though.
Yeah.
Firestorm as well. Beta Toast. Tada as well. Pretty much the same players. I don't think we have too many new players compared to last week.
Yeah, possibly some of the names kind of like middle of the pack, maybe a little bit further down, have rotated out a little bit. But yeah, at the top of the leaderboard, it is a lot of the same names this time around.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. I mean, a lot of them are the known RPG players, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Wrestling.
Yeah, good plan.
He's pretty fast.
He's pretty
just
fast
risking a
off the
lot.
start line here as well. I was going to say, maybe not ideal for me to be spectating, given he is currently first place off of the start line. So I'm going to jump down to Goliath, who we haven't really seen up the top. I mean, I think had some very fast rounds last week, did Goliath? But
I think so.
yeah, not really threatening the top breakaway packs that we've seen so far tonight.
Yep. Once again, Ferry is just too good. And never mind, he clipped. Oh my god. I keep jinxing. It's actually insane.
Yeah, it's not a great place to clip either. It's kind of right into that engine off block right before the checkpoint. And obviously, you know, it's there to block other paths more than it is to really slow you down there. Still not a great time to have a clip and need to accelerate those right when you're about to hit an engine off.
Yeah. I think, like, overall, I don't know why people risk. It's, I think, such a bad, like, strategy. Because it's just rounds. It's not even finalist mode at the end, so just be like, consistently third instead of going first and seventh.
Yeah, yep. I mean, that's exactly. I mean, with how severe the points drop-off is now, I have to check it. What is it? It's 1,930, 865, 805, 750. Like, if you're down in 7th place, you're getting like 600 points.
Yeah.
If you're third
That's
3
bad.
times in a row, you get like 850 points every time, 865 points every time, right? Like, it's third place consistently. I mean, easier said than done, right? A lot of very good players, but yeah, like, consistently getting kind of top 3, top 5 is definitely better than getting like first 10th.
Yeah, definitely. That's, I mean, I've always been like that. I've always hated, I mean, not hated, but like disliked the people that just full send. It's just not effective usually. And I mean, when they're in a good day, I mean, they're unbeatable, but that's rarely the case.
I would like to
So I'm just a
apologize.
consistency guy.
I would like to apologize to Ferry. I saw a very close battle going on between Ferry and Bren, and so I jumped on board with Ferry, who immediately crashed. Just immediately hit a wall. He's
Typical.
still okay. He's still in 5th place. You know, it's not the end of the world, but is definitely in the weeds. Very close battle. Jean will hit a wall on the way through there. Bole, Morpeo, Bren, and Ferry, all 4 of them now within a couple of tenths of each other. Again, about a minute 20 left on the track. Checkpoint 14 out of 22 as they go through checkpoint 15. The gap is minimal between all of them.
And Racelin is just on a match of his own right now.
Yeah.
He's like 2 seconds ahead, 2nd place.
Yeah.
So if he crashes, I'm gonna find his home and tap him on the shoulder and, yo, what's up?
I'm going to find his home and very politely ask what was going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, understandable.
I mean, he lives in Canada, so that's way too far from me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Don't feel safe, Racelin. I'm watching you.
Well, unless he wins the round, right? Then he can feel safe.
Yeah, then he's fine.
Then he's fine, yeah. We're getting 2 very close battles now in the top 5. Morpeo and Bren have separated out a little bit from the brotherly battle of Ferry and Bola. Is there any crashes to be made? I mean, Bren and Morpeo are wheel to wheel at the moment. Bole survived as Ferry was there as well. I got nervous
gonna
for a
YOLO.
second. Ferry is
He's
going to
definitely
YOLO,
gonna
and
YOLO.
Ferry could potentially, I was going to say there might be a little bit of extra speed there for Ferry to try and catch up to Bren and Morpeo. But I'm not sure how close they can get. I mean, Bole's starting to push a little bit as well. Both of them catching up to Bren and Morpeo. Ferry now in the mix in between those two, heading around the last few corners. Great landing by Bren. Ferry will get a slowdown. He's clipped and is sent back. Bole is sending it past Morpeo at the moment and just about beats out Bren as well, who was leading that group of 4, getting up towards the finish line and somehow ends up in 4th place.
Yeah. Bola and Ferry both fully risked. Didn't work out for Ferry, but Bola definitely caught up like 4 places, I think. So that's insane.
Yeah, that's they were battling for fourth or fifth there, and then Bola overtook all three of them. It ended up in second place. And Raceland, as you pointed out, just had a lovely time. It got clear by about 2 seconds with half the track left to go, and just cruised to the finish line from there.
Yep. He's also the fastest on the track. You can see on the local records on the right. He's a second ahead of second place. So he, on the paper, is the best.
Yeah.
Bola is usually not so high in the records, but this time he is. He's usually the more consistent guy. But hey, if he's fast as well, that's good.
Yeah, and
he's doing good at least.
That's pretty scary, yeah, for everyone else on the server. As Morpeo not having as good a time of it this week. Our organizer not managing to dominate the leaderboard in the same way. Although, to be fair, he had a little bit of a come-from-behind win last week as well, I feel like. He wasn't the first to reach finalist mode. Scandir obviously was. But did manage to sneak up on it and was the first player to secure the placing. Hey, just so everyone knows, Morpeo last week didn't take any of the prize money, right? That's why we played to fourth place last week, because Morpeo, as the organizer, not taking any of the prize money. First place prize money went to second place prize money went to third place, and so on. Just, you know, we want to make sure that everyone understands that this is not a scam.
Yeah. I'm realizing you can clip the checkpoint intentionally, like the triangle on CP3.
I was watching that, and I was going to bring it
horrible.
Up. That the roof hit that they're doing on the checkpoint to get the wheels on the ground faster, you mean?
Yeah, that looks horrendous to play.
Yep. Rather them than me, absolutely. You remember how we said, like, hey, Levon might be learning the map as he goes along, by the way?
Yeah.
I've been watching as Levon
not
gets
really.
he gets a little bit closer to the front every time, and he gets a little bit further into the track before making a mistake. So after 15 rounds, he might have the entire track without making a mistake ready.
Hey, looking up to that.
Not this time.
For his standards, if he trained, he should be playing for the win, but he definitely didn't, so it's fine. He's just chilling. Oh, Scandier fully clipped the checkpoint. He lost 6 seconds or something, 7 maybe.
Yeah, full
Bola's
crash
first.
from Scandier.
Never mind, he crashed. Cool.
I was just about to jump up to the front to see what was going on. Bren winning the round at the moment. Morpeo in fourth place, and then it's Hazard and Raceland. Although Morpeo will overtake his teammate Hazard in the meanwhile. In fact, 3 teammates. A lot of Milky Way players up front again. Again, maybe no surprise there. They're a very good team when it comes to RPG.
Yep. Anyone active and good wants to end up in Milky Way, basically.
Yeah.
That's always been like that. It's been like 8 years or something, or 9 even. They're just great.
Ooh, Hazard clipped. Hazard crashed a little bit and is now in a battle with Ferry, who has, despite earlier crashes, managed to catch back up. Scandier, by the way, just last round and this round, kind of nowhere to be seen in the top 5.
Oh, I almost hit his forehead when going in that hole. Ferry clipped. It's a pretty good battle between Hazard, Ferry, and Ike. I think Hazard doesn't have the pace, but let's see. Maybe he can. He's keeping up, at least, trying to. They're within 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, very, very close to each other at the moment. I mean, potentially you're a prophet. Hazard was starting to fall away from the other two a little bit there, but Ike is in fact the one who will be behind at that checkpoint. Again, about a minute left to go in the map here, our regular check-in at the 3-minute mark, as there is people taking different lines around that flag, and I don't think it's making a huge difference over the course of the whole map, by the way. Ike has unfortunately just full crashed and will be dropping a long way back. As Ferry and Hazard still then, the battle going on. Ferry, I guess 50-50. It's up to Ferry in some ways whether or not Hazard beats him, because Ferry has been full risking the end, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and if it does work, probably beats Hazard here. If it doesn't work, Hazard is going to end up in fourth place.
Raceland is on a hunt for Bren. He's been fully risking, then catching up, then clipping, and then going back to hunting. I think he might overtake him at the end, because Bren has been pretty slow at the end.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on board with that battle. Does jump a little bit further than Bren. Bren looking for the early landing and maybe speed out of the uphill there. Gets it. Re-overtakes Raceland. No clip for Bren on that one. Raceland getting airtime into the turn on the right there. Bren leading the way with a couple of corners left to go. Narrow gap. Great line from Raceland. And Bren will get overtaken right at the end. Jumping back to our other battle that was going on. Ferry did end up beating out Hazard by about half a second in the end. Risk paying off for him there. No clip for Ferry. And two great battles inside the top 5 this time around. You called it, right? That Raceland had the ending, had the speed. Bren has been a little bit slower there. And it was just that line through the gap that Raceland just absolutely hit at speed.
Yeah, Raceland, I mean, he just went in like there was no tomorrow. He fully sent it and it paid out. I wouldn't have done that, but hey, worked out great.
Yeah, I think there is an element as well where like kind of our top 3 in most of these rounds, it feels like, are getting several seconds of separation from most of the rest of the field. And like the gap from first to second is 70 points. Like it is genuinely quite a big difference in your points if you do it. And if you drop from second place to, what is it? I guess you can basically drop from second place to no, I was going to say you can drop from second to fourth place, maybe fifth place, and not lose a huge amount. But no, you lose about 200 points for doing that. So yeah, terrible idea. You're absolutely right. Crazy thing for Raceland to have done in that round.
Yeah. Let's see the standings now that we've played 1/3 of the evening.
How is Scandir still second, by the way?
He's still second, yeah. Raceland first with a pretty good margin, as you said. Bren is third, which is better than last week, I think.
Yeah.
Morpio is fourth, followed closely by Ferry in fifth.
Yeah. It's I'm shocked. I'm genuinely surprised that Scandir is still second at the moment, because I feel like Scandir came like 5th or 6th in the last 2 rounds. But I guess came third in the first, or came second in the first 3 rounds, basically, which is a lot of points very quickly.
As I said earlier, consistency is key. Scandir has been consistently getting second places and third, and I mean nothing bad. So that's just it. He's just second. Yeah. I think he wants to go for first though. I don't think he's gonna save for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because Raceland is definitely pretty much like at least 3 places ahead, like 3 first places away. So yeah, he needs to go for it a bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
but right now he's in 6th place. Oh, 3rd, never mind.
Yeah, there was a crazy crash. I actually missed who exactly it was, but there was a very, very funny crash that happened right in front of Scandir, who is right now locked alongside Morpeo and Hazard. There's another crash as well. That time around, I believe it was Raceland who flew on out of the side. I'm not actually sure.
I think it was Ike.
It might have been Ike who was in
earlier.
front. Yes, Raceland crashed earlier. Yep, absolutely correct.
One name we haven't seen yet is Dada. He was the underdog last week, and he still is, but hey, he's kind of popping off. I like it. I like underdogs. He's in 6th place right now, 7th, battling with Raceland and Vortex.
Yeah, that was...
And losing a place to Vortex.
Yeah, a little bit
unfortunate.
Raceland
fully crashed.
Raceland did full crash. I did unfortunately jump on board with Tada as you started talking about him, and watched him just get overtaken by 2 people. Wasn't even a mistake. He just lost out on pace to 2 people on track as we were talking. But it's fine. He's still up in the top 10 at the moment, and there's still a very good battle going on, specifically for 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Morpeo was up alongside Scandir and Hazard earlier on, but over the course of the last 45 seconds or so has dropped back by about a second or so on those 2 players. Bole having a kind of quiet race up front at the moment, you know, got out to an early-ish lead, but that lead is shrinking. I think it's the battle between Hazard and Scandir is doing damage to Bole's lead as well, and that jump has done damage to Bole's lead too, as he got a large slowdown landing on the left side of the car, touched the wall on the way through a little bit, I think, as well there. Maybe didn't, has survived, but is now well within striking distance for both Scandir and Hazard.
Yeah, Hazard is doing pretty good. I think that's his best round so far. He's in contention for 1st place if Bole does any mistake, really. So I like to see that. I don't think he has the pace, so he can just wait and pray for people to make mistakes, which might happen. We've seen many mistakes at the end.
Yeah.
So let's see. He might. I'm believing he's gonna win this.
Yeah, full faith in Hazard to win this round. As we'll have to hope for one of those mistakes, probably to come from Skandir, as Hazard drops back behind Skandir, and Bola has once again kind of re-extended that lead a little bit out front. It was getting very scary there for a second. Could feel Skandir and Hazard on the tail end of the car, but they've dropped just a little ways back. This top three is starting to spread out just a little bit, and from there a little ways of a gap back, all the way back to Ferry, currently sitting in 4th place. As yeah, I think all of this top three starting to just take it a little bit safer now, because the gap has started to extend. You know, it's a few tenths between all of them. Not a huge amount of risk there from Hazard at the finish line either, and does make it through. So a clean race as well. Ferry has learned his lesson from earlier. No more crashing at the finish line, so we'll take 4th place. And we'll see what that does to the leaderboard. I mean, Skandir, it had been a little while since he'd gotten a very solid result, but picking up the 2nd place there, another 930 points, feeling a lot better.
Yeah, and yeah, Bola has been peaking, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Last week he was great, and now he's even better, getting like an insane time. I don't think anyone drove such a time today. 4:05 flat.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. That may be the fastest time that we've seen on live rounds. Yeah.
He's insane anyway. Even if someone else drove that, he's just doing insane today.
Yeah, like 1.5 second off world record in live rounds is just fast on an RPG
and he's ranked 7 right now, so I think he's gonna skyrocket up to like 4th or something.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye.
Actually, Morpio did good.
Yeah, I actually don't think he's going to move up a huge amount. Bren actually probably going to drop a few places after this round. Almost definitely going to drop a couple of places after this round. We'll keep an eye. Bola, I was wrong, all the way up to 4th place.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
See? Boom.
Yeah.
Math. Quick math.
I'm a zoologist, not an engineer, not a computer scientist. So I have a competitive disadvantage. And Bren also actually not dropping as much as I thought he was going to, but is now 10 points behind Bola as things stand. And we will be playing...
Wrestling he lost like a 700 points advantage to Skandir. They're now only 115 points away from each other. So yeah, he lost a lot.
Yeah. Is next week rounds mode again? I'm sure an admin will be able to tell me eventually. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I think it's rounds mode again next week. We'll find out.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I'm just saying because the rule book says how many finishing positions we're playing to for week 1 and week 4. And so that to me says that week 2 and 3 is rounds mode. I guess we'll find out when we get there. But at the moment, I will stay on board with Brent.
There's a break.
Yes. Ah, that makes a ton of sense. Yes. Okay.
A week later is a special pathfinding event.
Ooh.
And then Sunday is going to be another, like the new map, basically.
Yeah. So no new map tomorrow is what we're saying.
Yep.
Very sad. Devastating.
It's a lot, though. Like,
yeah.
It's having to play one map every week for like 2 months. It's a lot.
Yes.
Only one map it's hard mentally to just keep up.
But, hang on, I'm going to jump up front just to see the battle that's going on between Raceland and Bola at the moment. I'm going to say, I mean, while there will be the winner of all 6 weeks will go to the grand final, also the top 2 players from Time Attack who are not already in the grand final go to the top 2 players from Time Attack who are not already in the grand final will qualify for the grand final. So, you know, break week, it's just like when you were in university. I don't know if the French system is the same where you have like reading weeks. Yeah, same thing. And everyone in all of your lecturers tell you like that's not a holiday, that's a study week. And you're like, okay, good joke. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, break week, that's grind Time Attack week, obviously.
Definitely. Actually, wait. Maybe Time Attack is only, how to say that? Like, first map Time Attack is frozen now.
Yes, that would be worth a clarifying with the admins.
Yeah,
Don't go and grind the maps just because I said something. Yeah.
Oh, Bola fully Yeah,
gone.
he clipped and then risked to not respawn, but he should have respawned instantly.
Yeah, and he's had another crash further down again after the respawn. So we'll be going pretty slowly and continuing to drop places down the leaderboard at the moment. But up at the top, that does mean that the gap, Scandir and Raceland, back to anyone else is extended by quite a lot. And this is feeling a lot like kind of round 1, round 2, round 3 again. Raceland and Scandi are just looking to pick up a huge amount of points. Although, there's a touch of the wall from Raceland. He's just going to drop behind Scandir, and Scandir will pay the favor right back. Neither of them making huge mistakes, but they are making enough to swap places a couple of times there. The big outcome of that is that Ike is back very close to these two at the moment, and maybe a risk at the end could actually catch at least one, maybe two of these players. And honestly, I don't know, Mitry, like the gap from 3rd place to 1st place in terms of points, it might be worth it for Ike to full send at the end here.
Yeah,
he's now past
definitely.
Raceland, 1 position gain back. See if he can get another. Oh, here comes
He's
Ferry.
definitely been risking. He was battling with Ferry earlier and just pushed Ferry to the mistake. Ferry fully clipped. I know he's kind of back because, well, he's still full risking and it's Ferry, so he's quick. He's now in 2nd place.
Yeah.
Can he get Scandir now?
Yeah,
He's
it's
not
gonna be
clipping
close.
his wheel this time.
And meanwhile,
Can he risk
Raceland
that?
and Aik
Bang.
are
Oh, he
both
gets it.
beside... Oh, Ferry got it clean, and Ferry will take 1st place. Aik beat out Raceland as well in the race for 3rd place. So really close. A lot of positions changing in the last 2 seconds of the track this time around.
Ferry gained like 3 seconds in 4 checkpoints. That's insane.
Yeah, nuts. And this is, you know, as much as we've talked about, it's not a good idea to risk a lot of the time because you just lose too many points. Like, the difference between going from 4th place and going to 1st place, like, definitely worth it to try and risk. That's a 195 point gain from Ferry in the last 2 checkpoints.
Yeah, and that's also like without counting the fact that it denies points to others. So that's
Also true. Yeah.
I think just a lot of points basically.
It's
but like
pushing someone from 1st to 2nd. That's a 70 point swing, and you get those. So it's actually a 140 point swing. So him moving from 4th to 1st takes like basically 165 points. No, sorry, 265 points away from Scandir. No, it's a 265 point swing against Scandir for Ferry. I've worked it out.
yeah, good job.
Yes.
Took some time, but hey,
It took
we
some
got
time,
there.
but it got there. Absolutely. And
We
that's relevant.
talked earlier
Yes.
about safing and not risking as much, but I guess when you're Ferry and you can risk as hard without crashing, then go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I mean, that's
still don't
always the case,
recommend
right?
it.
Some people's risking, like, in order for me to get even close, and I still wouldn't, but to even get close to the times that some of these get by driving safely, you know, their version of safe looks like my version of risking, I guess is what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, same.
And at the same time, I mean, Ferry definitely was sending it through those last few corners, but managing to do it relatively consistently. To be honest, the one big crash we've seen from Ferry at the end, if we're ignoring the one that he's just had there, which I'm not going to call a big crash, it was just a touch. I mean, the one big crash we saw from Ferry was just dumb, rather than like a big mistake. You know, I mean, you really shouldn't be crashing the right side of the finish line.
He just put his controller on the side and thought he was done with the map.
Victory burgers in his head before he'd actually crossed the line.
So I think, by the way, Foot is having issues with the plugin. He got forced into spectator and can't join anymore. Even with Ashepta forcing him as player, it just doesn't work. So yeah, just unfortunate for him. And also Levon had to restart his whole game somehow. So unfortunate rounds happening.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I mean, I will say the other side of that is, I guess, at least it's not one of the players who's currently in contention for prize money tonight. Would be a little bit more. Although, who knows? Maybe Levon was about to win the remaining 7 rounds or however many we have left.
Yeah, sure.
It could have happened. Everyone else could have forgotten how to play Trackmania.
The standings are super close, though.
Yeah.
4th, 5th, and 6th. Even 7th are insanely close. Up until 8th and 1st and 2nd as well.
Yeah,
Just
looking
Ferry
good.
in 3rd place. No one ahead, no one behind, just no one close basically. But yeah, cool standings. 4th place is insane.
Absolutely. Very, very
Let's
exciting.
see.
As at the moment, it is Bola from Raceland from Ferry for the top 3. And Bola is starting to build out that gap again. I think, the rounds we've seen Ferry win sometimes come down to Ferry just full risking around the last few corners. I think the rounds we've seen either Raceland or Bola win, they've built up a lead by about kind of the 2-minute 30 mark, maybe the 3-minute mark, and then they just kind of carry that all the way through. But now we have Bola with a lead with about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes in, and we have Ferry trying to chase Bola down. And that is potentially a recipe for a very exciting end to the track.
Yep. Good players crashed early on. AEK did, Raceland, Morpio, and Bren. They are pretty far behind. Somehow, Raceland is 13 seconds behind. So yeah, he's not getting first this time.
Yeah, feels unlikely.
Bren battling with Vortex. Then there's Hazard kind of alone there. But top 3 again is super close.
Yeah, and Bola nearly overtaken by 2 at the same time there, but Scandir lost a little bit of speed on the transition through, and Bola has managed to regain first place for the time being, but that gap has vanished. Any kind of comfort that Bola had up until this point, completely gone, as Ferry now couldn't make the choice, could try and risk as we get towards the end here. And Scandir, I guess the question is, do you risk or do you trust that these two are going to risk against each other and just both crash? Honestly, I think that's the bet I'd be taking if I was Scandir right now, is
same.
You let these two crash in front of you and take first out of that.
I don't think Scandir has the pace to overtake a fully sending Ferry, so yeah, I would definitely save. Maybe Bola could risk.
Yeah?
I think he might.
He might send it. Well, we're going to see.
Pure
It's not
ego.
a huge sense. Scandir, pretty good pace, but not enough track left, and landed a little bit further right. So, Ferry, I think managing really over the last 30 seconds or so of the track to do that. As Bole sends in chat. Bole a little bit worried about Scandir getting close in chat there. Letting him know.
Good rounds. I prefer watching this map than last week's. It's different, but the fact that it's so much harder to get a clean run makes it actually insane when people do and have good rounds just like that.
Yeah.
3 people in 0.6 of a second, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much exactly 0.6 of a second between first and third there. And I mean, the gap between second and third is, what, about 100th of a second? Or no, 1/10 of a second, 1/10 of a second. Which, yeah, I mean, again, across a 4-minute map, crazy. Absolutely insane. The fact that they were both in it the entire way there, very impressive. And again, you were kind of saying the 4:05 flat that we saw earlier, very good time. That's the top 3 all with 4:05s. I mean, not 4:05s flat, but still really, really solid times.
Yeah, the overall pace improved, definitely. Let's see if it can improve again.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. We are on round number something. What round number are we on? I have no idea.
You can press tab and
does it say it on
at the
scoreboard?
bottom?
It does.
Yeah.
We're on round 9 out of 15. Scandir currently leading the way, 6,855 points. Raceland about 300 points behind that, but again, as you were saying, it's very close in a lot of different places. I mean, Raceland and Ferry within 40 points of each other. Bola and Hazard within less than 100 points of each other. Bren only 25 points behind Hazard then as well. And Morpeo right up there as well. It's very close. Kind of top 8 up to third place is very close, and then second and third is very close as well.
Yep, and I don't know, I think you said it earlier, but only top 4 gets prize money.
Top 3 gets prize money this
3.
week. Yeah. It was technically the same last week. The problem was just that the organizer Morpeo decided to come first, and obviously wasn't going to take any prize money, so we had to play for top 4.
I mean, it's obviously rigged, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was saying. I mean, Morpeo putting in a lot of the prize money for the event out of his own pocket, decided not to just take his own money back, which I appreciate.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool guy, Morpeo, top tier human.
Yep. I mean, look, obviously spent all of his time practicing last week's map in advance of the competition and forgot to practice this week's map in advance. But, still doing okay. Still in the top 8 at the moment. And yes, Morpeo is very cool. Oh!
Ooh. Rage
Uh-oh.
quit. I think it's the third rage quit we see.
It has crashed my
That
game.
was
Is what's happened.
artist.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, the rage
Ooh,
quit
damn.
has fully crashed my game.
well, I can do the radio keeping
Please
up to
do
date.
while I try to get back in.
Well, top 3 within a second. It's Wrestling third,
I'm going to bring
then
it back
Bren
to our
and Skandir in
faces.
first
Nobody
place.
be alarmed as I relaunch the game. It'll be fine. We'll
Ooh,
get in
I
very
could.
quickly.
Oh, totally not serious, but hey, I could. Yeah, not.
Oh,
Never mind.
It was working.
No. Okay. Dude, you're missing the Levon being fourth.
This is all that was holding him back was me being in the server. Oh no. Hang on, we're getting there. Online.
Nothing
Nebula
crazy
Cup.
happened, I think, though.
Hopefully not.
Just very being far. That's just
Yeah,
the only surprising thing.
understandable.
Oh, Skandir as well. Never mind.
Oh no, it's getting exciting. Okay, hang on. I'm transitioning. We're back in game. Okay, I'm back in. Ferry and Skandir are they're pretty far down. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. And Levon's up to third place. Now, if Levon does crash as soon as I get back into the server, we know it's my fault.
Definitely.
Seems to be safe so far, at least.
I think Bren is on a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's a long way out in front at the moment. What are we expecting off if he were to risk the end a little bit? I mean, I know we said Bren a little bit slow at the end compared to some of the other drivers. What kind of pace are we looking at here?
I could check, but I think he's on a 06 at least.
Okay. Could be pretty good. I mean,
That's about 06, yeah.
Yeah, has lost a little bit of ground to Raceland over the last couple of checkpoints, the last few turns, but getting towards the end, I mean, can Bren hold off Raceland? We've seen this before, and we've seen Bren get overtaken. He's just not sending it into the gap at the end as hard as some of the other drivers in the landing there, a little bit to the left, had to readjust for Bren, drops behind Raceland immediately. If he wants first, will now have to send in the last few corners. Good speed out of the right-hander, catching back up to Raceland, right on the tail. Bren trying to send, but having to really drift hard at the end there just to keep the car out of the wall. And so Raceland holds on. Good time from both of them. I mean, 405s from both of them. And meanwhile, as soon as we stop paying attention to Levon, does get the 4th place finish. Good for Levon.
Yeah, he did get overtaken by Hazard.
Yes.
So, yeah. I mean, Hazard has... I think that's the first time he did something noticeable. Because, like, he's good. Like, as I said last week, he's just cursed. He's good, just never, like, popping off at the right time.
Yeah. I'm getting the feeling RPG just might not be the style for him then. There's just, of all the styles in Trackmania, the one with the most places for a curse to strike, definitely RPG.
I mean, he's definitely like a main RPG guy, or trial, I guess.
I'm just saying, I guess he got to find something out. Oh, that was on board.
He loves RPG.
Bounced off.
RPG doesn't love him back.
Yeah, toxic relationship, I guess, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Does then, if Hazard ever gets a world record, that's like RPG as a style, love bombing Hazard to be like, no, babe, I love you, please come back, it's fine.
Nah, he has some pretty good times, but yeah, never, like, in competitions, he never pops off. I know he clipped the time I said that last week.
It's gonna get
And
the
he
clipping
actually-
ready, he's gonna do it again.
Yeah. So Hazard, I'm watching you, don't worry.
Yeah. This is, like how sports teams, they get, like, quotes from the newspapers saying bad things about their team and, like, put them on the wall of their locker room. Hazard's going to, like, buy a tablet specifically to just play that Twitch clip on loop. Just constantly looping that beside his PC.
That would be based.
It would be very funny. Here's my clip of Mitry calling me trash. Or, no, not calling me trash, saying that I'm cursed. And that I don't win
I can
things.
call him trash.
Okay.
Already done that many times.
Clip of Mitry calling me trash / cursed, and I play it on loop beside my PC for motivation.
Nah, just kidding. Love your Hazard.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this
Danishman.
round shakes out. Things have gotten off to a quick start. Our current overall leader, Raceland, just a little ways down the field this time around, did overtake Scandier on the leaderboard in the last round after the win, but this time around sitting in about 6th place, I believe. That looks like 6th place to me.
Yep. It's pretty close. I think that's the best round so far in terms of not anyone crashing.
Yeah.
And as I say that, more people crashed, I think. So yeah, great.
Yeah, ideal. Perfect. Thank you, Morpeo. Making Mitry into a liar.
Hazard as well.
Yeah.
Crashed.
Yeah, there's been a couple. It's a very close top 6. It is starting now to spread out just a little bit as kind of we get a little further into the track. Just the cars naturally spreading out a bit, but still very close. It's Ferry who makes the first big mistake from that top 6. Car sideways on the track, will drop a long way back from the rest of them. Now a close top 5 as Aik is overtaking Raceland, who is overtaking Aik. Just different lines through that section, and Bole and Scandier are locked in battle for 2nd place, and it's Bren who's breaking away from the pack a little bit, up in 1st place, and a pretty clean 1st place at the moment.
Can he finally get 1st place?
Well, now that you've asked the question, I'm going to say no. Definitely. I think the problem is that Bole and Scandier have both been really quick over the back half, and I think they're just going to catch him over the back half of the track kind of naturally. They're going to catch back up to him a little bit. No mistakes from Bren. They're just going to catch him, and then they're going to beat him in the last checkpoint again. It's going to be them risking and Bren not. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a full second though. I'm gonna say if someone does that, I think it's gonna be Bole. I don't think Scandier is gonna full YOLO.
You say a full second. It's already down to 8/10 at that checkpoint. I don't know. And Scandier is the one who's gaining at the moment, and it was 8/10,
Never mind.
and it's now down to about 4/10. So it's disappearing very rapidly. Is that gap that Bren had? As Bole and Scandier are still very close. Scandier was getting away from Bole a little bit, but Bole right back at him this time around. I mean, Bren is still holding on to this lead and has started to re-extend it a little bit, getting good speed through that drop down. And these top 3, they have pulled away a little bit from, well, I was going to call it the top 5, but it is mostly just that Hazard has dropped away as well. Raceland, though, is still pretty close. A mistake from any of this top 3, and Raceland will be catching. Raceland will be overtaking and taking those points with them. About 20 seconds left in the track, 25 seconds left in the track, however long it is. Bren's still holding that lead, but there definitely is a few tenths that most of these other drivers have had on Bren in literally the last checkpoint. At the moment, the lead is about 6 tenths. Is that good enough? It's up to about 8 tenths, and we are running out of track. Bren has held on very well. Scandier will touch. It's not a huge mistake. He will still probably hold on to that top 4 position, but it does mean that Raceland and Bole battling for 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Right-hander through the gap. Who holds it? Raceland, great speed. Bole losing speed, may even get caught by Scandier. Not quite, not enough time. Scandier too far back. Hazard actually catches Scandier at the line instead, and it turns out, Mitry, you were right. 1 second too big for Bren to be caught.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you saw. Bren got a slowdown, so he was like equal to them, and then they both got the same slowdown, like a second just after that, which got back to normal. So like.
Yep.
Any of them could have just not make a mistake, and that was free.
Yep.
They all made a single mistake.
Yeah, and then Scandier,
still a pretty good tank though.
Yeah, made a bigger mistake,
Yeah.
and lost to Hazard as well. Who, I mean, you know, that's why you stay in the hunt all the way to the end of this RPG track, because sometimes even on the final jump, someone will get that slowdown, someone will catch a wheel, and you can overtake them. And exactly what happened that time around.
Let's see the standings. We've done more than 2/3 now.
Yep.
Of the rounds.
And we're on map 3 out of 1.
Is, yeah. Yeah. Wrestling is first. Definitely getting some good points here. Bren as well. Bren might catch up to Ferry. Probably not gonna overtake him, but he's on a good way to get top 3.
He's going to be exactly
what you want.
I was about to say he's going to be exactly 100 points behind him.
Yeah. Good math.
Yeah, that was quick caster math. Don't get that very often. But yeah, we were saying before, it was kind of a very close top 2 between Scandier and Raceland, and then a pretty big drop off. It was 2nd and 3rd was very close, and then top 8 was all very close. But Bren has really caught back up to both Scandir and Ferry at the moment. I mean, still a little ways behind Scandir, and Hazard is not far behind either, and Bola is not that far behind either. And then that's where the drop-off now kind of starts, is that nearly 500 point, 400 point drop-off Bola to Morpeo between 6th and 7th.
Yeah, everything is pretty close besides top 3, I guess. But yeah, anything can be done still. One massive crash from Racelin, finishes 20, and like he's away for.
I would like to
like
apologize
3
to
rounds.
Levon for coming back to the server and accidentally catching you on camera, because obviously that's not doing you any favors. That was a minor crash by Levon on camera, caught 4K, whatever. You'll be fine.
Hey, but Lucas first, Hazard. Never mind. Now it's Bren. But hey, he's there.
Hazard is up and in the mix. That is a Danish flag up alongside. I'm going to call it a Swiss flag because Bern is a city in Switzerland, and that is Bren's Bern emote. So, you know.
Wait, Switzerland?
Well, Morpeo does have the actual Swiss flag, but then you see Bren's flag is a picture of Bern. And Bern is a city in Switzerland, so that's also a Swiss flag, kind of, if you think about it.
True, okay.
Yeah.
I was, okay.
Yeah,
I
see the vision
understood it
here.
wrong, okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying it makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying that's how I'm choosing to call it. As this
I'm
is
following you.
a very close, like, top 7, like the top 7, top 8 right now. All definitely still kind of in a range where you could see any of them making their way into at least the top 3. That's a little bit of a bounce. That was, I believe, Ike making the mistake. Bole also makes a mistake, and so never mind. No longer is it a very close top 7 altogether. It is a very close top 3, and then Scandir is behind them, with Vortex just behind Scandir as well. And it is Morpeo, Hazard, and Bren, and I think Morpeo and Hazard both have been kind of a little bit quiet tonight. Both of them not really in the top 1, 2, 3 that we maybe expect for them in some of these rounds.
Yeah, that's true. Bren, though, has been insane in the last couple of rounds, like 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Definitely getting some fight back from Hazard. How long, though, is that gonna last? Ooh, Hazard clipped. Okay, he can make the jump, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's still battling for first, though, unless Bren makes a mistake.
The low speed really helped Hazard there. Got a really, really low jump, and that kind of pulled him back away from Morpeo, who has just bounced and is unfortunately going to drop behind Scandir and potentially even a little bit further, although I do think Levon is a long way behind. So this top 4 in a world of their own at the moment. Scandir having a big slowdown, Morpeo re-overtaking, but I'm going to jump up front to the top 2 just to see what's going on there. And the answer is Bren is winning, and it's pretty comfortable at the moment. And so that means maybe this battle, I was going to say maybe the battle between Morpeo and Scandir is closer, and it is a little bit closer, but not that much closer. This is a very spread out top 4 for once. Really nobody super close to each other, half a second to a second between pretty much all of them. As we head into the last few corners. Good battle.
Is between Racelin, Vortex, and Levon. They're all really neck and neck right now.
Yeah.
Wait, Levon crashed, but hey, still a battle between Vortex and Racelin.
Still a really good battle between these two. We're just going to assume nobody crashes at the end up in the top 4 because they were spread out enough. Surely they safed it. We'll find out when we get there how they do. It is still Bren, Hazard, Morpeo, and Scandir up there. As Racelin and
they
Vortex
all make it.
a great fight. As all 4 of them make it cleanly into the finish over on the scoreboard. And this is going to come down to the end. Racelin has a little bit more speed and he's going a little bit further left on the jump, but not enough track left. Oof. And a very close fight, but Vortex does come out on top. You can see it, the gap between them, 14 thousandths of a second at the finish line. Also, Bren's time was 4:04.8.
Yeah.
That's quick.
He drove PB, yeah. Pretty good time, yeah. That's more of his style of map.
I was going to say as well, we've made the mistake of giving rounds mode to Bren, where he's guaranteed 15 rounds, and he has just got, learning buff over the course of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right now is definitely his biggest training session, probably.
Yeah. Most times spent in the
this style of map is heavily inspired by one map called Maru. I think Morpeo said something about it in your podcast. I mean, the podcast, which is not yours, but yeah.
Hey, I'm one of the co-hosts. Thomas keeps trying to make me take ownership so that I feel more of a necessity to actually mention it to people. So he'll love that you've called it my podcast, but you're right, it is Thomas's podcast also.
You guys' podcast.
Yeah,
great podcast. Go listen to it; it's great. So yeah, Maru has had a night cup on it. If you don't know what night cup is, it's basically 1 week of training and then knockout on Sunday. And Bren, I remember back then, he was driving WR every round and he just destroyed everyone. So that's definitely his style on map. He's good on that he's been good for years on that. So not surprised to see him do good.
Yeah, he's been having a really good time the last few rounds. He is currently still 3rd place, but he is really catching up to Bren and Skandir, and I suppose that's not a huge surprise, given it. I will say, he's kind of running out of rounds a little bit, unfortunately for him, if he wants to win, because both Skandir and Raceland have kind of been near the top, top 2, top 3, top 5 at least, and even if Bren wins all of the remaining rounds, if they're coming top 2 or top 3, he literally does not have enough rounds left to catch them, I think. Or it'll be very, very close.
Yeah.
And that relies on him winning all of the next few rounds and definitely not losing to either of them in the remaining rounds. Although, at the moment, it's not the end of the world for Bren. It was 4th through that checkpoint, and Skandir a few places behind. Raceland even further behind, so...
Yeah, he's 9th.
Yeah, it's a chance for Brent to catch back up a few points, because again, the points drop off from like 2nd place to 8th place is about 300 or 400. That would wipe away a lot of the gap in basically 1 round. Now the issue is Skandir is literally right alongside Bren right now.
Yeah, they are both not doing so well. On the other hand, Bola, sitting in 6th place in the standings, is 1st right now.
Yeah. Big
I'm surprised to see him 6th. I feel like he's been in the top places every time, but apparently not.
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier as well, though. I think Bola has been in the top places in a lot of rounds, but then in the rounds when he's not like 1st or 2nd, has been like 8th or 9th, right?
Yeah,
and the points drop off is so severe that it's really not helped them out.
No major mistake right now.
Yeah, and a very close top 6 again. Although every time I say that, Ike crashes. So I'm not going to say anything about how close this top 7, top 6 is at the moment. But it is very, very close. A lot of players within a second of each other at the moment. And we'll see how that shakes out as we get a little bit further into the track as well. Over halfway done, about 1:20 left in the track at the moment. Skandir sitting a little bit behind Morpeo, Ferry, Bola, Bren, and Ike all up in that 1st place group. It's Skandir who actually does make the mistake, touches. He hasn't lost a huge amount of time, but is overtaken by Raceland through that checkpoint. They'll jump on board with Morpeo. Just remember there's a couple of drivers right behind at the moment. Bola and Ferry right beside each other, and Bren has moved up into 1st place once again. I did miss it. Ike, I can't help but notice, is no longer in this top 5. Yeah, and I'm not sure where he went.
He's very far behind.
Yeah. I clearly missed whenever that mistake was made, but this is why I told you I shouldn't have been allowed to talk about how close the top 6 was.
Well, it still is super close.
Yeah.
Basically 1.3 seconds for 6 players is still insane.
Yeah.
Only 4 checkpoints remaining.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Bren is 1st. I think Ferry is gonna send it. He has to if he wants.
Yeah, I was on board with Morpeo, who
in the cash
was
prize.
in 6th place. Did unfortunately crash out just there. Again, shouldn't be a huge time loss, but enough to no longer leave him near this. Ferry's got to send it, and you're right, Ferry is sending it. I'm going to jump on board with Bren, trying to come back at Ferry. Bren tried to risk it, and you'll watch everyone cruises past Bren. I don't think he's going to drop past about 6th place. Bola is in the wall, and so Bren, in fact, won't drop past 4th place. But unfortunately for Bren, those 2 drivers currently ahead of him in the standings, Skandir and Raceland, are 2 of the 3 drivers in front of him in this round as well. Morpeo ended up coming in 5th place. Bola, I have to assume, ended up in 6th, maybe 7th place. And that's exactly what we were talking about as well. Why is Bola 6th overall on the leaderboard at the moment? Well, unfortunately, it's incidents like that one.
That's why. Yeah, the standings are gonna be insanely close, I think. Skandir caught up a bit to Raceline.
Yeah,
Ferry caught up a bit to Bren.
yeah,
That's gonna be actually insane. Same, I guess. I guess top 5 is far for Bola, but still caught up.
yeah.
Morpio is gonna be 6th, I think. But yeah, top 4 is pretty cool to watch in the standings.
Top 5 even, I think. I mean, Hazard is literally 20 points behind Ferry at the moment. It is gonna, you're right, gonna be a much larger gap after this round, about 400 points for top 4 down. But exciting. I mean, last 3 rounds and still definitely all to play for.
Yep.
And of course, the reminder that there is a €500 prize pool tonight for this week's Nebula RPG Cup, of which €250 going to first place, €150 going to second place, €100 going to third place. That, as it stands, would be Raceland, Skandir, and then Bren. But that could change. Still 3 rounds left to play, including the one that we are currently driving. And you can see it, Ferry is very, very close. 90 points behind third place at the moment and looking to break through into the money still.
Our main antagonist right now is Ferry, I think.
Yeah.
He definitely wants that third place, and he's just behind. So, behind Bren. So, him being first place is really good for him. Ooh, but he gets a little slowdown before the free wheel.
Yeah,
Bola, his brother, can catch up. Bren as well can.
Yeah. As,
Pretty close rounds.
I was gonna say, like, does the problem is, I think Ferry, if he's in like I must go fast mode, probably doesn't have any mode except full risk. That's when you have to play, you know, a further 12 minutes of RPG across, you know, 3 rounds on a 4-minute map. That's probably going to be at least 1 crash, right? Like, if you're going full risk for 12 minutes straight, it's very, very hard to survive. It's still doing an okay job of it at the moment. I mean, this top 3 is 3 cars on top of each other, basically, at this point of the track. Unfortunately for Ferry, he is now the furthest behind of those 3, and he's touched on the way through there as well. So we'll drop all the way down to 5th place for the moment. And again, it's a very close top. I mean, as these rounds have gone on, Mitry, we've seen kind of the top 6, top 7, top 8 get closer and closer every time.
Yeah, as I said, it's hard to be consistently quick, but the map is easy, so people can get used to the map pretty quickly, as we see Levon doing and Bren as well. They are definitely doing better now than they used to, and it shows. They are like battling. Right now Levon is battling, he's just behind Ferry, just ahead of Ike. So yeah, I don't think he thought he could do that, but he can.
Yeah.
Same with Bren, actually. I'm so surprised with Bren. He's in 2nd place, far behind Raceline, but still ahead of everyone else. Never mind. bad drift. But hey, he's doing good still.
Is just ahead of... Oh, I was going to say just ahead of Bole and Ferry. He's a long way ahead of Bole now, but he's still just ahead of Ferry, as Bole unfortunately had a Discord speech bubble moment a little bit there, sent into space on that occasion. I don't know, I fear for the... Oh, Ferry's in a wall. That's a big crash.
Oof.
Bole's actually not that far behind. I was going to say, I fear for the Trackmania 2 RPG community that maybe something has been reawakened in Bren over the last week and a half here. But he's like, wait a second, I do like this track style. This is great.
This is pretty rare, though. You don't see many maps like that.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately, Bren has streaming commitments now as well, and as much as we'd love for all of his viewers to also absolutely adore Trackmania 2 RPG, I do think he probably has to mix it up a little bit and not simply play old school Trackmania 2 RPG style tracks.
Yeah, he's enjoying that though. I saw a clip of him saying he really liked the cup, and he's most likely gonna play the other events as well, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, super cool. Well, I mean, we'll see if he changes his mind, if he's overtaken by Bole off the back of that crash. He has survived for the moment, just in front of Bole still. And this top 3 is a long way away. I mean, Raceland is in the wind. He is so far gone with only about 20 seconds of the track left. So really it comes down to if Bole can catch Bren at the end here. And we've seen Bren repeatedly get a little bit caught towards the end of the track here. Bole going for airtime on that turn has just allowed Bren to full send and continue off into the distance. Both of them take similar lines through that final turn, so Bren will finish a long way in front of Bole. Actually caught up a little bit to Raceland, who had a very good time. 404.7 for Raceland in that round. I think might now be the best live time that we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you literally drove a time that only 3 people on Earth drove, and he's one of them. So, like,
it's
good
fast.
luck with that.
It does have to be said, I mean, very solid time from Bren as well, who I think is continuing to kind of, improve his consistency as well as his possible best time. A 405.1 as like a relatively safe feeling time from Bren there. It didn't feel like he was really sending it at any point. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think Raceland is most likely safe in the standings.
Yes, I think we're getting to the point where he may just be... Well, okay, I mean, as long as he doesn't DNF the next round, right?
Yeah, but even if he finishes like 5th, he's fine, I think.
Yeah. We do have 2 rounds left. So, I mean, he could finish 5th twice, and that would actually start to be a little bit scary, but it's probably going to be okay. Now, the battle between Bren and Scandir for 2nd place.
Yeah,
now,
I was going to say.
Pretty interesting.
Scandir was definitely doing better at the beginning of the evening.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of struggling. Only 200 points ahead of Bren, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah,
he actually has to do good because Bren has been popping off.
Yeah. Now, I will say, Raceland is, 300 and 400 points ahead of Scandir at the moment. But like we said, the drop-off from 1st place down to 4th place is about 200 points. So, like, a couple of 6th places in a row for Raceland here, if he's not paying attention in these last couple of rounds, could go badly. Yeah. Now, I think that's unlikely. If I'm being totally honest, I think what's more likely to happen is Raceland gets a top 2 finish in both of these rounds.
Yeah.
Where's Scandir? He's a little way behind. He's not very far behind. And Bren, unfortunately, is moving very slowly on that engine off section as well. So Scandir will overtake Bren in the middle of the track as Raceland and Ferry go racing off into the distance. Ferry is also not fully out of it just yet. I mean, is 400 points behind Bren, but kind of the same thing we're saying about, like, oh, if Raceland had a couple of bad rounds, then maybe someone could catch him. If Bren or Scandir have a couple of bad rounds, or even one very bad round, and Ferry wins both of the next 2 rounds, Ferry could sneak into the prize money at the last second.
Yeah. Bren is very far behind, though, right now. He lost a lot of time on that free wheel.
You say that, but I am sitting here watching Scandir and Bren right beside each other.
True.
So
it's far in the standings, but it's close.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. He is far in the standings, absolutely. We'll wait and see how it shakes out.
Pretty good battle around 5th place with Bren, Scandir, Vortex, and Morpio.
Yeah. Vortex, I don't want to say I feel bad for him, but I have definitely seen Vortex near the top 6 in a similar way to Ike, who I also, I guess, feel a little bit bad for, where both of them have had like very good first half of the map, a lot of rounds in a row, but both of them I think have struggled to keep it together for the entire 4 minutes in the same way that like our actual top 5 have. Yeah,
massive crashes happening in like a single checkpoints. So basically it's only Scandir and Bren now battling.
Yeah.
Ferry is on a banging time, I think. I'm not sure. Wait, 203.8. He's 0.3 behind Bole's time. I don't know what that means, but he's on a pretty good time basically.
Yeah.
He's 0.3 behind the best checkpoint time driven tonight.
That's fairly impressive, absolutely. We'll wait and see. I mean, Ferry, as we said, I think is just in full send mode and see if you can sneak into the prize money. Bren's going to catch on that corner. And did survive, but landed the belly of the car right on the edge of that. It looked a lot worse than it actually ended up being. Didn't really lose much time, although he will lose a lot more time on this occasion. He's not got the speed. That's going to be Bren having to go safe routes, and he is dropping that. I think is us watching the end of Bren's hope to maybe catch top 2 even for tonight, as Scandir and probably Raceland just a little bit too far out of reach at the moment. What we did also just watch, though, Mitri, is potentially the rise of Ferry into top 3.
That might be it,
Nope, never mind.
Never mind. Okay, dude, that's actually insane. We gotta stop speaking. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. I want to jump a little bit down the leaderboard. Where is Ferry compared to Bren? Now behind Bren.
He's so far
Unfortunate.
behind anyone.
Yeah, he's kind of in the mud, off in the distance somewhere. I'm just going to watch these top
He was
two.
10
I was going to
seconds.
say the top two. Bola has overtaken Raceland into second place. As that was unfortunate for Ferry. It was definitely a moment there. I think if he survives that round, if he comes first place, all of a sudden you're having a serious conversation about like, ooh, third place, Bren, Ferry, who's it going to be? We might still get it. You never know. I mean, Bola is going to potentially jump a little bit up the leaderboard here as well. But I think unless it's literally first place and Bren and Ferry both have some pretty severe crashes again, and also Hazard probably crashes too, probably not going to catch. Bola is going to take second place. Raceland takes third. Bren takes fourth. Ferry ends up finishing in a battle with Hazard up to the finish line. Ferry winning out. And it is going to be an 8th place for Ferry with a 9th place for Hazard.
Oof. He's gonna be so mad about that.
Yep. Understandable, to be fair. One more round. We'll hold off for a second and look at the leaderboard, but I do think it's feeling pretty likely, Mitry, that our top 3 is close to locked in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're never far from a 10-second mistakes, as we just saw, but most likely it's not gonna happen again.
Yeah, but I think at this point as well, like the difference between first place and, 19th, 20th place, which still feels unlikely even with a 10-second. I mean, we can see that's not a 20-second mistake. That's a 1-minute mistake to get to like 20th place, right? Is about 600 points. And I think we might be getting to the point where some of these gaps are bigger than 600 points.
But Skandir and Raceland are so close. First place is definitely not decided.
Yeah, first place up for grabs by 250 points between those two. If one of them wins, the other one comes about third. That's how Skandir overtakes Raceland. I think Raceland probably needs to be 5th for Skandir to win. About there. Give or take.
250 points difference, so
yes.
I think just third and first, or
well, third and first is a 145 points difference, so that would definitely not be enough for Skandir. I think it is about 5th place, unfortunately, that Skandir would need Raceland to come. And unfortunately, Skandir is a lot closer to 5th place than Raceland is at the moment, as Raceland is currently sitting up in 2nd place. Bola is winning at the moment. Bren, looking to have locked in 3rd place, is about 600 points clear. I don't think there is a world in which Ferry catches Bren from here, or any of the players behind Ferry in the standings at the moment. But of course, also importantly, at the top, Raceland, right on the edge of locking in one of those grand final spots. Skandir is about to be denied for a 2nd week in a row, I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine him not getting in the grand finals. Like, he's way too good.
It would be crazy, but hey, stranger things have happened. Also, I love, for whatever reason, I think the Trackmania has just defaulted a lot of the people to Irish car skins today, which, hey, I appreciate. That's pretty funny.
Wait, you see Raceland as
yeah, it's not loaded
Irish.
Some of their car skins. I've seen Raceland as Irish. I think it's shown me Skandir as Irish at some point as well. It seems to be picking and choosing at different times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, definitely biased game.
Absolutely, 100%, and I'm here for it.
Hazard brings in first.
Yeah, currently Hazard is Uzbekistani. Very important. Bren is in first. It might be a little bit too little too late. Hazard may be Uzbekistani, but he's also crashed. He's in Timbuktu right now. And Skandir has overtaken Levon in the middle of the track. Levon definitely has... Look, he's continuing to get further and further into the track without making major mistakes, but we have now run out of rounds for Levon. This is our final round. Aik sitting in a comfortable 4th place at the moment, although I don't know how comfortable any place is on an RPG track when you have Skandir in the position behind you. And meanwhile, up the front, Bola and Bren having a nice round to finish things off.
Yeah. Bren is on a pretty good time as well. Actually, he's, on WR pace, I think.
Ooh. Oh, Bola is not, because Bola has, I think, not crashed, but a little bit slow through that section. Let's jump on board with Bren for a little while. We'll jump back down to watch some of the other battles in a second. Just make sure Bren doesn't throw it away at a silly point. He has survived that little corridor. We've definitely seen some issues there. This is where he fully lost the round last time around, but not having crashed in the corridor, did survive the jump. Nice air time.
Equal to WR. I'm watching checkpoints, like, I'm checking checkpoint times.
Yeah.
After one another, and he's 0.02 in front of it, in front of WR.
Yeah.
Let's see. 06.005. He's 1,000 behind WR.
It's good pace from Ben. We will say, I think, we kind of mentioned that maybe it's his end has been a little bit slower than possibly the WR is. And I don't think there's a
Maybe
huge
he's
amount of
just
reason for
full
him to
sending
risk.
it now.
Maybe he
now
is
that
just
it's
full
done.
sending it. It would be pretty fun. As we said, like, he is basically locked into third place. We'll
He's
see if
half
Frank can get a
second
world record.
ahead of WR. And now he's the second. What? He's going at it.
He's cooking, brother. Bren is in the cushion, and there is flames everywhere, but he is not worried. He's been going for the low landing here. We've seen some players jumping further. Bren always going low to try and accelerate out of that turn a little bit sooner. See if that helps him as well.
He's risking so hard.
Full sending. He does not really
That's
get a
WR.
straight line through there. It is going to be 3.13. Bren gets a world record.
And he
in
kind
the
of went
final
0.2
round.
at the end. Damn.
Yeah. That was fast. I don't know what to tell you.
Insane gamer.
Bren is him a little bit. Unfortunately, will not be enough to pull him up higher than third place tonight, but it will be enough to secure him safely in the prize money. Going to take third place. Raceland confirmed will take first place overall, and Scandir will take second place. So that means €250 going to Raceland for tonight's racing, and also that spot in the Nebula RPG Cup Grand Finals in just over a month's time at this point. Scandir, again, denied a second week in a row. As you said, Mitry, hard to imagine that Scandir will not be making it to the Grand Final. At some point, he has to get one of these spots. But at the moment, he still hasn't. 2 weeks down. Scandir second place both times, and Brian will take third place this week.
Look at top 4, 5, 6. Everything is swapped out. Bola went from 6th to 4th. Ferry overtook Hazard.
Yeah.
All of that at the last round.
And super
Doesn't
close
matter,
there
but
between 4th to 6th as well. And honestly, Morpeo not far behind either. Very close between the drivers on that one as we bring it back to our faces. And Mitchell, I think that's about it. Us wrapping up for this evening as well. As you mentioned, we do not have Nebula Cup next week, correct?
Yep, correct.
Yes.
Break.
A nice little break. I think I'm pretty sure. There is a pathfinding event, a special pathfinding event, which who knows? Maybe there will be a stream of. Possibly not. We'll probably that's in negotiations during the week. We'll figure out if that's the thing that's happening. But does mean, as always, join that Nebula Cup RPG Discord. Nebula RPG Cup Discord. It should be in Twitch chat there somewhere to keep an eye on what's going on if you have an interest in playing in that or in any future weeks of the Nebula Cup. That is the joy of this cup. Doesn't matter if you've played previous weeks or not. Even if you want to make it to the grand finals, all you got to do is perform well once. So worth keeping an eye on, and then we'll be back with more racing in 2 weeks time. That'll be back to cup mode once again, and I think that's going to just about do it for us, Mitry. Any final thoughts, any final notes on how things played out tonight?
Well, again, Scandir has got to step it up. Pro is not good enough, apparently. But yeah, that was fun. Brand drove WR, so that's great.
Kind of sick, yeah.
And that was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, that's I think the note that I'm going to leave it on, Mitry, is that Scandir has just sent in the server kind of like the map now, but too late. Which I think is a very funny note to leave it on. And Bren has said the same thing. So yeah, a little bit too late for both of them to grind it, but they'll get their chance again in a couple of weeks' time. Mitry, thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone who's watched. Congratulations to Raceland again on the €250 and that spot in the Nebula RPG Cup Grand Final. And we will see everyone back here at some point in the future for the rest of the competition. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.